Welcome to the weekly meeting of the Golden Speakers Toastmasters. We're here every Tuesday night from 7:40 to 9 o'clock in the Fairfield Business Park. Glad everybody could be here tonight. This is Ragbri Week, and we're going to hear later that the meeting theme is riding a bicycle. Are we about done with that part?
Completely done.
The soundtrack goes.
Sorry.
That's okay. We have a visitor with us tonight. Jyoti, why don't you introduce your friend and let's ask him to stand up and just tell us real quickly why he came.
Okay. He's Venu, and I asked him to see how meeting runs, and he might be interested in joining. So, Venu, why don't you stand and introduce?
Right. First of all, thank you for inviting. My name is Venu. I actually got invitation from Jyoti, and before that I had idea to come to the Toastmasters actually, but it was on and off, so I think it's right place, right time now probably to join.
Very good. We're glad to have you here
Thank you.
tonight, Sam. I'm going to remind everybody to take their devices and put them on silent mode. And then I'm going to read the mission of the Toastmasters Club. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. How about a little hand for the theme, the mission. Now it's time for the Toastmaster to take over the meeting. We're very efficient tonight because I'm the Toastmaster, and we'll get started. The first thing I'm going to do is read the theme of the meeting. It's riding a bicycle. Of course, this is the week that all the Ragbri hordes will descend on Fairfield. They're coming on Thursday. Someone said it might be 20,000 riders. Our quote for tonight is, "I've never been particularly aware of my age. It's like being on a bicycle. I just put my foot down and keep going." That's Angela Lansbury, Jackers. We'll begin our meeting by asking our role players to give us a brief explanation of their roles. And we'll start with our timer for the evening, Beta Royale.
Good evening. Tonight I'm the timer, otherwise known as timekeeper. I will be timing everything that I can during the meeting. The table topics are 1 to 2 minutes. The red light will come on at 2 minutes and you'll have 30 seconds to wrap up. Do we have any speeches tonight?
Yes.
Yes, it's 5 to 7 minutes. So the green light will come on at red, 10:05. The yellow light will come on at 6 minutes, and the red light will come on at 7. Our evaluations are 3 minutes, with the timing on the table topics, the evaluation to be decided depending on how many topics we do.
Dana, how will the lights be handled during the evaluation section?
Evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes, 2, 2.5, and 3, with the red light being at 3.
So green at 2, yellow at 2.5. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Toastmaster.
Will you hand me
What would you like?
an agenda?
Sure.
Did I steal the agenda? Sorry.
Our next role player this evening is our grammarian. Tonight is Jean Symington Craig.
Okay, so,
Why don't you point the camera at the board and then go stand in front of it.
and I'm gonna mention too, if you're asked to handle the camera, there's a very simple instruction. Follow whoever is speaking. And then go back, because we have some where it's just someone speaking and you can't tell, and it's just looking at Dan, which is a nice experience, but we might want to display.
I thought it looked good, but.
Yeah, okay. David. Now, why don't you come here and you follow me while I go over.
Let's hear it for the grammarian.
Okay, very good. The word of the day, I have two jobs. The first one is to introduce the word of the day. It's called febrile. And it's an adjective. And one of the more direct definitions is fevered, something that has to do with being feverish, hot, like that. But it's also having or showing nervous excitement or energy. And used in a sentence, his febrile imagination kept him up at night, writing feverishly. I got that extra fever thing in there too. I will be looking for opportunities for you all to use this, and I'll keep track of that. And my second role as a grammarian is to note creative usages, excellent vocabulary that are used tonight, and then also some things maybe that could use a little improvement. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
So this word is used on the positive sense or negative? I mean,
It's just a thing, it's how, it's
It's a feeling.
kind of a, you know, it's active, it's lively, it's kind of got that almost a little bit of a nervous
Jitterbug.
energy
mhm.
thing. So it could be a little bit of a negative, but it's really more a phenomenon. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll get to you.
Now we're ready for our ah counter, David. David, give us an explanation of your role.
You can stand right
Good evening, everyone. This is my first assignment, so please bear with me. I'm at the R counter, and I've been
2 hours,
asked to actually.
3 hours.
Come on, guys.
I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
I've been asked to look at the filler words and sounds like like, you know, so, but, and tongue click and false start. So this is what exactly I'll be looking for. And then I've been advised to be ruthless. Just on a lighter note though. Yeah, I'll do my best. I know I'm kind of working on. You would find more filler words with me more than you guys. Yeah, so that's what I do.
Great.
We're going to hear from Jyoti Raj later as general evaluator. We're going to hear from Veda later as our joke master. Now it's time for us to begin with the prepared speech. I'm going to invite up Jyoti's evaluator, Jean, to read the objectives of the talk. Then as Toastmaster, I'm going to read his introduction and then invite Jyoti up. Let's first give Jean a hand.
Part of the educational experience in Toastmasters is enthusiasm and support from our fellow members. So at this juncture, I'm going to say that the clapping is a little weak tonight. Okay, so I just want to see, we need a practice. We haven't done one for a while. All right, clap. That's good. That's really good. All right, so you just need a little brush up on that. Tonight, Jyoti is doing the second project in his level 1 in Pathways. He is in the Pathways that is dynamic leadership. And this assignment, some of us have definitely done this assignment, is the purpose actually is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and then apply that feedback to a second speech to make it better and richer and more full. And I'm going to be looking for all kinds of things that I can tell him that he could then decide to use to incorporate into the next version of it. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
She's a hard taskmaster, folks.
Really?
Resistance is futile.
You would know.
Let me read Jyoti's introduction before he comes up and begins his talk. Jyoti's been a member of the Golden Speakers Club for almost a decade. He lives in Fairfield with his wife and 2 children. He's an accountant and works in town. He's a longtime speaker and loves to talk. Apart from speaking, Jyoti is also involved in community building as a member of the Rotary Club. He loves to dance and dance in a square with a group of people at 408 West Low in Fairfield every Monday from 7 to 9. He's also serving as a member of the tax committee of the Iowa Society of CPAs. Jyoti's passion is to learn new things and share his experience with others so that his learning benefits not only the whole community but also the world in general. Jyoti is doing his second speech from the Dynamic Leadership track. The title of his speech is Want to be a Good Public Speaker? Here you go. Let's welcome Jyoti Rao.
How does this work?
Do you want a video? Oh, no.
I want time.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
You are a good speaker, I know. You are a good speaker. You are a good speaker. You are a good speaker. You are a good speaker too. You are a good speaker too. We all are a good speaker. You talk to your parents. You talk to your siblings. You talk to your parents. You talk to your employee. You talk to your teacher, students. You talk hours and hours without any ums and ahs. When you talk to your relatives, when you talk to your friends, you have this inherent speaking quality in you. You are a good public speaker. You speak to public in general. But when it comes to stand here and speak, it is very hard to manifest that inherent quality in us. Why so? Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home, let me go a little abstract here. Our mind, we have 2 components of mind, or 2 types of mind. One is conscious mind, the other is subconscious mind. The conscious mind is what I am doing here now, speaking, getting information from you, using my senses. This is conscious mind I'm using. And the subconscious mind, on the other hand, doing the heavy lifting. It is the main thing which is working behind the scene. So what happens when I'm relaxed, when I'm easy? I work from my conscious mind. But when I'm worried, I'm in fear, my subconscious mind starts working and my conscious mind goes to sleep. Because when I'm worried, what happens? The mind thinks, when I'm worried or in fear, mind thinks I'm in a big threat. I'm facing a tiger or falling from a cliff. There is no difference for my mind. It thinks I have to survive, and the mind will go to the survival mode. I have to either fly or fight. So it is very hard to fight because I'm already in threat. So I have to take a flight. I have to run from here. But I can run from this stage because I'm a little bit conscious also. So what happens? I will take my mind takes the escape route. That means the mind will divert. So what happens? The mind will start giving me the message to get shivered, or to get nervous, to become irrational, and to become dubious. I become doubtful. And when there is a tiger in front of me, I can do gestures. I can do eye contact. I cannot do anything. I have to run, but I can't run from here. So I mess up, and I can't speak. So what is the remedy for this? So I'm speaking from my own experience. I tried this, and speaking here in front of you, like this. The first thing, when you come to the stage, just speak from your conscious mind. Your subconscious will start telling you a lot of things because this is based on your memories, past memories. So from past memories, it will start feeding your conscious mind. But you are here to do, ignore. Whatever you prepare, deliver. Whatever you are for, do it. Don't wait your subconscious mind to take over. If it's starting to take over, just wait for a while and ignore it. And when you are relaxed, then you are conscious. You come to the present moment and you can do your job. The second point is just forget what happened in the past during your speech or wherever. Because what happens when you think about the appreciation you received in the past, you want to maintain that standard. And you'll mess up. And if you think about the bad thing you got in the past, you're trying to be better. And again, you'll mess up. Be as you are there and do what you prepare. The third, forget who you are. Forget if you are a doctor, engineer, meditator, teacher, social worker, whatever you are, you have whatever reputation you have in there. Here, just stand and deliver your speech. Because if you think about your social status, think about who you are, then you want to maintain that standard, which the blueprint you have in your mind. You have some blueprint in your mind that who you are, and you want to maintain that standard as a doctor, engineer, chartered accountant, CPA, or whoever you are. And you think that people will think that way, and you want to match that blueprint. And the fourth, just do what you are doing now. Don't try to incorporate those evaluation or criticism on the stage. Do it when you are rehearsing or preparing the speech. But when you are here, don't try to fix anything. Whatever happened here happened 2 minutes ago. Just let it go. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to mend it on the stage. Do it when you are preparing, rehearsing, or writing your speech. And the fifth, and the foremost, and the important is speak from your heart. And speak on the topic only which you really believe in. Don't speak for the sake of speaking. So if you believe something, speak on that. If you don't know about the topic, research it, find it, and then present it. Don't do the speech to just to show off how much you know or how brilliant you are. If you want to show that, prepare, experience it, and then deliver. So if you do this for a while, you'll become fearless. And once you are fearless, you can do any gestures, you can dance on the stage, you can say anything, no problem. You can do eye contact, whatever you want you can do. The first thing is you should be fearless to become a good speaker. The first thing, speak from your conscious mind. The second, forget what happened in the past. Third, forget your social status. Fourth, don't try to fix the mistake on the stage. Fifth, speak from the heart and speak the topic you believe in. If you do this, you'll become a good speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti. We're going to take 2 minutes and fill out a written evaluation for Jyoti to give him some feedback. Mr. Timer, please give us a 2-minute period. Now let me invite Jean Symington Craig up to give the evaluation. But first, we want to see from the timer if speaker qualified.
Speaker qualified.
Very good. He's in the lead for best speaker. Jean, is that enough time for you?
A little fast. But I realize we gotta go. Train's gotta
Okay.
leave the station.
She's gonna take the leap.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. Jyoti is an accomplished speaker, and he has a desire to even be stronger as a speaker. I'm going to go ahead and make some comments here that he may find useful for incorporating into his speech the next time. Some things that I really liked that he did is he has really good, what I'm calling power gestures. He clarifies when he uses his hands, and he blueprints and da 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 da, and he's just got good arms and hands, and I learn things from him because sometimes I don't know what else to do with my hands unless I've got something really prepared. So I don't know if he prepares and thinks about that. That's what a lot of speakers will do. Where do I want to put certain gestures to emphasize my speech? But he incorporates those well. I like that. It makes me feel that he does really believe in what he's talking about. He also had good organization. He told us he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at the end, in the conclusion, he summarized those again just to make sure we really had those, and then encouraged us to use them. And it was a good organization. Some things I thought he might want to work on. I felt that what in the number 5, speak from your heart, I think the point that I got was, yes, take a topic that you feel strongly about, and that's going to be great. But you may not have the option to take a topic that you feel strongly about. It could be something that you don't have that much feeling for. But what I thought I heard him say, start to move, was that if you don't know your topic, research it until you do get some insight into it. And hopefully by researching it, you'll get that feeling, some strong feeling that will then enable you to give it. So part of your preparation is to get into your topic enough that you have feeling. And I just think that would be, I'd like to see that a little more clarified, because you may not be able to choose your topic, just something that you love. It may have to be about, the sewer system in Fairfield and why we need to do something about it. And you got to get into it. That's what I took. Vocal variety, I'd like to see some louder pieces. I thought that it was a little quiet. And if you were in a different room, if he was in a different room, I think it would have been weak. Now he felt he was adjusting for this room, but I still like to see a little more power in the vocal variety. I also felt that the opening was a bit weak. And this is where I was getting ready to write down, don't have time, but I think if you said something like, you probably think you're a decent speaker, you probably think you do okay out and about, and Veda too, and that's fine. We all have learned how to communicate in our worlds, but if you want to get up on a stage, something to kind of lead us in a bit more, and I would be a little, again, louder. It was so quiet, it just felt like, I want to see a little more oomph in there, because you have that oomph, I've seen that too. Other than that, those are my main suggestions. If you could possibly consolidate your 6 or 7 points into something, maybe pick out the top 3 or 4, I think that's also easier for the audience to remember. But I thought it was very good, always an excellent experience.
Thank you, Jean, for that excellent evaluation. She always gives us lots of energy, but it doesn't go so far that you call it febrile.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I had some time to think about it. It's time for me to leave the stage after that And I'm going to ask Jyoti as our general evaluator to come up, and at this point we'll be starting our table topics.
Hello, Toastmaster. Let me call our table topic master Janet to take over the stage.
Well, I'm feeling absolutely febrile about these table topics tonight. Here we go, 10 points, okay. Do we have any volunteers?
Okay.
All right, Dee.
Yeah.
Good, I can tell, that's gonna be great. Okay, would you like to pick one and I'll read it?
Sure, I'll take that one.
Okay. Do you remember the age you started riding your bike? Who taught you? Did you agree with their methods? Or you want to suggest improvements?
I have a vivid memory of the first time I rode a bike. My father and my uncle, see, I was one of the youngest of the grandchildren. I have like 30 aunts, I have 30 aunts and uncles, I have like 50 cousins. And I was one of the younger ones, so I was the one that was always a little bit picked on, you know? They were always playing games with me. So I remember my father, we had a little tricycle. Remember you have those tricycles with the trainer wheels on them? And you could kind of wiggle back and forth on his. Well, he took them off. He put me on the bike and gave me a big shove, you know. And I was a little bit terrified. But the thing is, what I noticed, if I kept pedaling, the bike would keep moving. So then, you know, that was easy. Then you got a bigger bike. I had an English bike that had, you know, the brakes and the pads on it and stuff. And I remember vaguely riding around the block, and there was a dog in the neighborhood. And the dog would always chase people. And so I had to pedal faster and faster and faster to get away from the dog. And then the bike went out from under me. And I flew forward over the handlebars. And there was a moment there where I actually, before I started meditating, I sort of transcended a bit, where I was in the air, just floating like this. And the thing is, I came down on my chest in here, and I didn't feel anything. It didn't bother me at all. And that's when I learned the thing about being fearless. And whatever happens, happens.
Next speaker.
If someone could time, I could do one.
I'll time, Jean will time.
Or,
Lights, camera, action.
Right there. Yeah, I D clap. All right, Mr. Royale. Choose your weapon. If you suddenly found yourself homeless, what do you think would be the most important things, the three most important things to do first, and explain why?
This is table topics. Master, Mr. Toastmaster, Toastmasters, and honored guest. Along with viewers at home. I think this is one of the most challenging questions you could give someone on a table topics, and I was hoping for something about bicycles because damn, I have a lot of bicycle stories. If I suddenly found myself homeless, what would be the three most important things I would do? I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking eat, drink, and be merry. However, you know, people don't think of being homeless as being merry, but I think that to keep your spirits up would be the first thing to do. Things can't get worse, so they can only get better. The second thing would be to make sure that you have enough to eat and that you can stay warm. So the first thing I'd probably do is try to hitchhike down south so I don't freeze to death in Iowa. I've spent a lot of time figuring out how to live minimally or out of a vehicle, and I think that would give me a lot of skills. But I don't relish the thought of being homeless. Miss Table Topic Master.
Okay, they get easier.
You can,
Give it a go.
for guest wants to.
Okay, so you pick it and then I'll read it.
That's the time.
Good, that's a good one.
No, it was, and.
What was a pivotal change in your life? What led up to it? And how did things turn out? So sometime in your life where things changed. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad that I got invited here so I can share my experience about this question actually. So first of all, of course, thank you for I don't know all the title that you have here, but I heard about the Toastmaster, Table Master, Table Topic Master. Okay, I know the guys. Okay, so the most pivotal change in my life, I think when I switched my strength that I consider the most strength career in my life as a scientist, then I suddenly changed my mind to come to Fairfield and to learn the consciousness-based education and forget all about the biotechnology and stuff. So being a biologist, molecular biologist, that people call a reductionist, and become trying to get all the wholeness of life. Thank you. Oh, this is also the tradition.
That's the format. All right, we have another,
You have time for one more.
one more. Pick your completely different.
You know, you get up and then it's like, okay, look, you guys.
Easy questions.
I don't know, Jen, these are pretty soul searching.
I know,
Wow.
right?
Can we get back to bicycles? I mean,
There is a bicycle one here, a very simple.
the worst that can happen
Time
is you
is
faint.
running out.
And then
It's not about fainting.
we'll get you back, we'll get you back.
I have water.
Okay,
Very
I'm a bad
brave.
example.
All right,
Just, you know, just get your feet wet, get your feet wet.
all right.
That's what we do.
Probably you'll like that one. Or the most interesting birth story that you've heard or experienced. Or a simple bicycle one.
I would
Bicycle.
take this.
You will, go
Okay.
for it,
Your
man.
experience
So,
is
you're gonna read it for us?
Sure, thank you. Let me get that for you. Tell us the most interesting birth story you have heard of or experienced yourself, and how did you feel about it? Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. It's such a privilege for me to be here and talk about this wonderful topic about the most interesting birth story that I've heard when I was growing up. So when I was growing up, I'm not a very fat guy now, but I used to be very lean and kind of pretty much to myself, so I was pretty reserved. So I kept myself away from crowd. I wasn't very much getting along with lot many people. And for this reason, to kind of boost me up, my mom used to always tell me story about the name that I have about David and Goliath. So every night, I don't know, for some reason, she kind of felt that I'm kind of keeping myself away from people, and I'm just having this, the reserve state. So to kind of actually help me get out of that, she always told me about this David and Goliath story and the name that I have, how brave I should be for the name that I have, the way that David killed Goliath. So she said, you need to be brave. So when she said, when you're born, the way we named you as David, Solomon, Samuel. So then David is known for bravery, Solomon is known for wisdom, and Samuel was known for his righteousness because he was the one who made David the king. So she said, we named after all this, okay? You don't have either of them, you need to work towards this. So that was a story that she used to say to me all the time, and that kind of helped me overcome this nervousness and the state of being reserved. So I started getting out and talking to people and building my bravery. Yeah.
I take over.
That's like so many sources.
So will, which topic speakers qualified? Are they all qualified? Or?
They all qualified. We have D, Veda, Venu, and David.
It's D, Veda, Venu, and David. So I'd like to call D Stuffer to evaluate the table topics.
What will be the timing? We have, what will be the timing, since we have four?
4 is like 3 minutes.
It's regular,
2 to 3 sounds
2 to
good.
3 minutes, okay. Okay, so we have Veda, Venu, David, and then myself. I don't know if evaluate me. I can evaluate myself.
Sorry.
Okay, so Veda talked about homelessness. He took a very partial and practical approach to this. He took a minute, about 10 or 15 seconds to pause to collect his thoughts, which is you need to do when you're up here and you don't know what you're going to talk about. When he was very practical about this, he said 3 things that I would actually do. And he outlined actually a plan of action, laid out the details of this, and how to manifest and solve the problems that he would have if he were homeless. Venu, it was a pivotal change in his life, and how did it turn out? He made good eye contact with the audience. He talked about some experiences he had in life, and he talked a little bit about how coming to Iowa had changed a lot of things, and took time to greet the audience. And then, I don't know what I did. I did really good.
Yeah.
I didn't pause a lot. And then David talked about his birth story, greeted the audience, made good eye contact with everyone. He talked about David and Goliath and related this to his mother, I think, was that right? Yeah, his mother. And he gave a lot of good personal, real life experiences in this. Good hand gestures, moved around a bit, and that's my evaluations.
suggestions? Did you have suggestions for your speakers?
Didn't I say some suggestions? No, I didn't. I guess better eye contact, a little more,
All of them, or just, this is a specific, you wanna be specific with each?
yeah, I didn't
Okay,
put that down, so.
so, okay, so that's something I want to do. Okay.
Did anybody evaluate me or no?
I could take a crack at
Yeah,
that.
take
Sure, go right ahead. Take a crack at it.
I'll take a crack at it. Thank you, Dee. Since you didn't take up a lot of time, I'm going to be brief also. You have a knack for speaking off the top of your head. You dive into your story, it pulls us in, we're along for the ride, and it's just heartwarming to see your ability to do that. It's like a miracle. My suggestion for you would be to take that 30 seconds. Even if you don't use it to think, it's more like a transcendental moment where that energy just accumulates, and then that gives you the force to go off. And then I might think about introductions and conclusions and just the formality of how you thank the topic master or the, and how you hand it back to the, thank you, Mr. or Madam Topic Master, to give it back, instead of just kind of stopping. Other than that, really great. Congratulations.
So how did our evaluator did with time?
I'm not 100% certain because I missed the beginning of Jean's timing. However, my impression is that she went over. It might have been only by a few seconds, or it might have been right on the nose, but I'm not error to say that Jean went over by about 10 seconds. The 340 and D qualified. In fact, he was underneath the minimum time, so I don't know if that counts for anything.
What was his time?
It was 1:36 until you started asking for questions, and it went up to about a
So
minute
1 minute
46.
36,
Yeah, then it went up to like,
barely. Okay, so he's allowed 30 seconds before.
yeah, so he qualified. D qualified and Jean did not qualify.
So what happened to the Gene case? I mean,
I approximated that I missed about 30 seconds of her timing. And based
shall
on,
we give us the benefit of doubt
we can,
because the time was
yeah, we could do that. I got up to actual time of 3 minutes, but I approximated that she, 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but I-
Can't disqualify, I'd say, if you
Yeah.
didn't time.
I mean, if you wanna vote to keep her in because that was my
It's
fault.
subjective,
It
yeah.
was subjective, it was so close.
So everybody is okay then. We'll
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
it.
Unanimous decision.
Anybody is
Time
against
is
this?
critical.
Okay, so both of us evaluated qualified. So please vote for the best evaluator. Welcome back.
Yes.
It's now time for reports. So I'd like to ask Veda for the time report. Veda, will you please?
Mr. General Evaluator, the time for the speech, Jyoti did 7 minutes and 10 seconds. For the topics, D was 1:50, myself was 1:39, Venu was 1:20, and David was 1:55, all qualifying. We're putting Jean down as 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and D, well, that's,
Good sense.
D was 1 minute and 36 seconds. or 1 minute and 49 seconds if you include the additional comments. That's my report.
Now we'll hear from Jean Symington Craig for his grammarian report.
Okay, the ribbons. Yep.
Yes, thank you. I had two uses of the word of the day, febrile. Dan used it once and Janet used it once. And I'm actually gonna say I didn't really notice any outstanding creative usages of language. Uses? There's that word again. But I also didn't hear any areas that I felt were needing improvement. But I have a high standard, so when I'm the grammarian, I'm looking for some really, 50-cent words, some great image. David actually had some good stuff, but anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll hear the countess report
Okay.
from David.
Being the man at the counter, with Jyoti, use of like, one, the filler word, and so 3 times, and 3 times. And then we had Jean, who used once, and then 3 times. And then we had D, I'm being a bit gracious here. So you have about used about like 6 times, and then about 3 times, and so once, and 7 times. And Veda used once, and David, that's me, I used 7 times 3 times, and so 2 times. So that's the report about.
Now it's time to laugh. We'll hear a joke from Veda Roth.
Okay.
Seems like bicycle jokes are perhaps some of the most challenging jokes to find. So I got out my handy dandy computer here, hand computer, and looked on the internet, and at least I found a site that had some funny ones. I went to a liquor store on my bicycle and bought a bottle of vodka, put it in the basket on the front. And true story, because I actually have a basket on the front of my bicycle. And it occurred to me that if I fall, I could break the bottle. So I just drank it right there. It was such a great thing that I did that, because when I went home, I fell 7 times. What do you do? What do you get if you cross a bridge with a bicycle?
You cross a bridge with a
Yes.
bicycle to the other side.
You get to the other side.
That's right. You get there faster. It's like, why did the bicycle cross the road or something? That's not one of the jokes. It probably would be funnier than once.
It's crossbreeding is what they're trying to make you think.
Right. A kid asks his father for a bicycle, and father says, if you can spell it completely correctly right now. This kid was kind of young. Father was thinking he's going to outsmart his kid, and the kid thinks and says, maybe I could get a car instead.
Sure.
There's a lot of long, shaggy dog stories about bicycles being too tired, and Mexicans crossing borders. The Mexicans, a very popular topic today. Mexican guy works in America, I guess. He's bringing bags of sand across every day. They inspect the sand. They find that it's completely clean sand has no drugs in it. Every day he comes across with the sand, and finally his friend says, "You've got to be smuggling something. How are you outsmarting these guys? What are you smuggling?" He says, "Bicycles." So that's as well as I can do with that.
Good.
Okay, now it's time for me as the general evaluator to evaluate the meeting, or the evaluator evaluate the evaluator. The meeting went pretty well. Today we have not much of a member person, so I had to take a lot of roles, so I couldn't actually write all those things. It was hard. So doing the same time evaluation, doing all those things. But anyway, I take Jean first. Jean was, as usual, she was had a very good gestures, eye contact, and the thing I liked her always, and this time also, she is always starting with appreciation. And it's very good to do that, because when you start somebody with appreciation, then first you win their heart, and then you can bang. Then that will not hurt more. You know? So that, I mean, it's joking, but that is a good. And I think you used to say that sandwich approach. I think Seth Brown has that approach, sandwich approach,
Tom Trainer.
where appreciation and bang, and then appreciation, and appreciation, and then bang, and appreciation. So that she is very good at that. And she had suggestion for the speaker, that is me. So she gave a lot of suggestions, which is really good. And some of the suggestion I didn't think about, and some of the things now I'll incorporate in my next speech. And that is not only for my speech, but it was a very good. Those were the very good suggestion in general. And D was also for table topic. And for Jean, she suggested me as a speaker, a lot of gesture. I use a lot of gestures. But if I saw myself, so I didn't use the stage. Actually, I realized that when I was there now, I was just standing here. I was moving my hand a bit, like conscious, soft conscious, but I was supposed to, because my plan was to use the stage also. But I couldn't, I forgot that, or because of the time I couldn't do that. So that is my suggestion, that you mentioned a lot of things, but you would have told me to have in the suggestion that to use the stage. So that is the one suggestion, is my suggestion. And D was very good. He had the evaluation for all those people, except Beta did for you. And you have appreciation as Jean did, and you have, but the thing is you didn't have the suggestion for people, so at least you come up with something that will be good for them to know that, okay, we are missing this, so we have to improve on this. And most of the people who think that we know this already, we are good in this, but we want to know what actually we are lacking, or where we want to improve. And one thing was for Beta, when you were speaking, I thought you will mention that Beta, it would benefit as a evaluator. Beta, you says a lot of things, but he was kind of like not finding a place to for his hands, and most of the time it was like here behind. And then you could have incorporated that suggestion for him that I noticed. For Beta, sorry I missed your evaluation part. I was writing all this general evaluation, all this stuff. So this is my general evaluation. So I would like to call our Toastmaster Jean Craig for the meeting award.
Thank you, Jyoti. Now, for the exciting time when we have our awards. Let's start with the best speaker. I know you have an idea who it might be.
Best speaker?
It's Jyoti Raj. Want to be best speaker? There you are.
Got it.
Now, best evaluator. Let's have a drum roll. Jean. One more drum roll for table topics. David. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Smile for the camera. Very good. That concludes the fun part of our meeting. Do we have any business that we need to cover before we adjourn? Jean's got something she wants to speak to us about. Is there anything else? Hey, Jean, please come up.
You're not wrong.
Well, thank you, Toastmasters. Thank you, guests. Hope you had a good time tonight. I just wanted to come up and briefly say, of course, you saw the note that I sent out to all of our members about Ron Kerr, who died on Sunday morning, peacefully in his sleep. I wanted to, we're sad. We have his application for his Distinguished Toastmaster Award into Toastmasters International. I was on the phone with them trying to get that kicked out before, things went south, or north or wherever they go. But so we're very hopeful on that. I'm not aware of any hiccups, but I was able to talk to Ron on Friday morning. And I didn't realize how close everything was, and I assured him that it was happening. He called and he said, so it's not happening, I guess, huh? Because I haven't heard back from you. And I said, no, Ron, you must not. I left him a voicemail. He didn't get it. And I said, no, they have to do a certain amount of processing, but it's happening. You have done it. It's just, we have to just wait until they cross this finish line, but like that. And he was very appreciative and very glad. So I felt on Sunday morning when I heard that he was gone, that he left knowing that he had crossed the finish line and had become a Distinguished Toastmaster, which, by the way, it's a level in Toastmasters. It's an achievement level. I like to call it the PhD of Toastmasters. Less than 1% of Toastmasters globally achieve the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. So it is a big deal. And he will be getting a plaque. Anyway, so yeah, I say he will. I have to keep myself buckled down until I see the whites of the eyes of the email coming in that it's been done. Also, the word is that Ron loves to have people come over, and so on this coming Sunday the 28th from 1 to 5, Phyllis, his wife, they're having just a big, just come over, hang out. It's not really a memorial service, it's more a celebration of life. There'll be videos and pictures and all kinds of stuff. So you can just come over. The address is 1108 North B Street. It's very nice. It's across from the
1108.
Right across from
1108 North B Street. And Phyllis has just been overwhelmed with all the people that have expressed condolences. I sent information to our District 19 leadership. It was on and then we put it on Facebook up there. So we're still deciding what all we're doing with that. But at any rate, those of you who got to know him, he was steady and just not complaining all the way to the end. And just wanted to let you guys know and let you know about that date this coming Sunday from 1 to 5. Okay, there we go.
Before we finish for the evening, let's have our guest, Venu, just tell us one thing you liked about the meeting, please.
Shall I
You can stand. Don't stop.
Again, first of all, always thank you for being so kind and giving the guests this opportunity and a point, a focus. So it's always delightful. So I think this meeting is a very good one, at least for me, to keep continuing to come and improve myself.
Very good. You're welcome to come and visit as often as you'd like. We'd also like to twist your arm as soon as we could about actually becoming a member. So you can talk to us about that after if you'd like. Anything else from the crowd? Okay, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Thanks very much. Please stay and help clean up.